Hello, and welcome to Trust Your Birth Tuesday. This space is all about cutting through the noise, debunking the fear-based stuff that we've been told about birth, and helping you feel genuinely confident going into your own. I'm Coco. I'm a birth coach, a doula, and a mama of two, and someone who has been exactly where you are. When I was pregnant with my first, I did all the things. I took the classes, I read the books, I checked all the boxes. And yet, when labor started, I had this moment when I thought, why does this still feel so overwhelming? I thought I was prepared. And here's the thing, I really was prepared. At least I thought I was. I had the workbook, I knew the stages of labor, I had my birth plan printed out, and I had packed my hospital bag to the T. But when contractions hit, it was like all of that didn't matter anymore. And I knew in that moment, I realized that something had changed how I approach birth prep forever. Knowing about birth is not the same as being ready for it. Most birth classes, they're built to give you information, not transformation. They're designed to help you pass the test, not run the marathon. And if you're planning for an unmedicated birth, that is a really big problem. Because you don't need to memorize the stages of labor. You need to know how to stay grounded when you hit transition and your brain is screaming, I can't do this anymore. You don't need another checklist. You need a partner that knows how to step in, read the room, and support you without ever saying a word. And you definitely don't need a class that only focuses on what happens when everything goes as planned. Because honestly, birth is unpredictable. And if your birth prep doesn't cover how to handle those what ifs, you're going to feel blindsided and things are going to start to shift. So that's what we are diving in today. I'm breaking down what most birth classes completely miss and why it matters if you want an unmedicated birth. Because here's the thing, those gaps in your prep, they're not your fault. They've just been teaching you the wrong things to focus on. And today we're going to fix that. Let's start with the first big thing that birth classes most commonly miss. They focus on information and they stop short of the transformation. Now, don't get me wrong. Information is super important. We all understand that. You need to know the stages of labor, what to expect at the hospital, what different interventions might happen, what they mean. All of that matters. The program covers that in depth. But the part that most birth prep classes miss and that they don't tell you is that knowing what's going to happen is not the same as knowing how to handle it. And if you're planning an unmedicated birth, that difference, that is everything. When I took my first birth class, I left feeling super informed. I had pages and pages of notes. I could tell you what was supposed to happen during early labor, active labor, transition. I knew all the things, right? But when my labor actually started, it was like my brain threw that all out the window and I was no longer in logic mode. I wasn't referring back to my notes or going back into my brain trying to catalog all of those things. I was in survival mode. And that's when I realized that, yes, information is helpful, but it does not get you through the contraction. Embodied preparation is what's going to do that. That's where most birth classes fall short. They tell you what to expect, but they don't teach you how to stay grounded, how to breathe through intensity, and how to shift your mindset so that when fear creeps in, it doesn't stop you in your tracks. And if you want an unmedicated birth, that's not nice to have. That's an essential. Let me show you what I mean with a quick exercise. Think back to a time when you felt overwhelmed. Maybe it was a big work presentation, maybe it was an argument, or maybe it was really frustrating while you were navigating traffic. You know, that moment when your heart kind of starts racing and your breathing speeds up, your shoulders start to tense, maybe you clench your jaw. Think about a moment that all happened. Those are all your body's responses to stress. Now, imagine that same stress response happening in labor, because it will. Your brain's job is to protect you. It doesn't know the difference between a tiger chasing after you and a fear response based on an argument or traffic or labor. It perceives pain or fear. Everything is going to ramp up. But the key is you can train your body, your mind, to override that response. That is what embodied preparation is all about. Tension amplifies pain and relaxation reduces it. Most birth prep classes skip that part, and it is so vital. They focus on what will happen, but not how to regulate your body and your mind when things feel intense. And that's why so many women feel blindsided when labor starts, because even if they know all the right things, they don't know this key missing part. In my coaching, I bridge that gap because I understand how important it is. We combined solid information with deep mindset work and hands-on practice so that when labor starts, you're not relying on memory, you're relying on muscle memory. Because it's not knowing just about birth, it's about navigating it. Okay, let's talk about another thing that most birth classes always skip. They don't teach you how to handle the what ifs. Here's what most classes do. They lay out the stages of labor. They give you some coping techniques, and maybe they walk you through what birth looks like, but typically it's the ideal scenario. And while that's great, birth is a rarely textbook. It's unpredictable by nature. Everyone is different. Every body is different. Every baby is different. And if your plan is only based on the ideal, the second that something shifts or goes off plan, you're going to feel completely thrown off. That's what happened to me. With my first birth, everything was going smoothly. It was beautiful. And after my unmedicated birth and my daughter was born, I ended up with a retained placenta, a complication that I really wasn't expecting. It was intense, it was scary, and for a split second, I could see myself, I could feel it, that I was starting to spiral. But then I caught myself. All the preparation that I had done and prepared for birth and what happens if something shifts, I was able to ground myself. I was able to take a breath, and I was able, not only just by myself, but with my partner who prepared with me, we were able to advocate for what we needed in that moment. And that is truly when it clicked for me. That birth prep isn't just about controlling your labor. It's about knowing what to do when something shifts. It's about knowing how to adapt, because something is going to shift. Birth is not linear. It's fluid, and your prep needs to reflect that. So where most birth classes fall short, they're focusing so much on a plan that doesn't necessarily prepare you on how to pivot. And when you can't pivot confidently, that is when the fear is going to take over. So let me ask you, if you're in labor and something unexpected happens, a sudden deceleration in your baby's heart rate, or maybe your water breaking earlier than you had planned, or a midwife suggesting an intervention, would you know how to make that decision without panicking? I want you to be honest with yourself. Would you feel calm? Would you feel in control in that scenario? And if your answers are no, that's okay. It's not your fault. Most classes, they just teach decision-making tools, but it's something that I go deep into with my birth coaching clients because that's where true confidence is built. Let me give you a quick peek into a tool that I teach. It's called the Confidence Compass. It's a simple 3-step process that I walk my clients through to help them make calm, clear-headed decisions in labor, even when things feel chaotic. I don't have time to go into all 3 steps today, but I want to tell you where it starts. It starts with step 1 of centering yourself. Before you react, ground, take a breath, reconnect with your body, because decisions made from fear are probably not going to feel right. Even just the step to pause before reacting can completely change how you experience labor. One of my clients actually recently told me this, that it was truly a saving grace during a tough decision during her labor. She said, I could feel myself spiraling, but I remembered the first step of the compass. Pause, breathe, ground myself with the techniques that I had practiced. And suddenly I wasn't reacting out of fear anymore, and I felt in control again. That's what makes the difference between feeling overwhelmed and feeling empowered in labor. And that's exactly what most birth classes miss. They focus on the plan, not the pivot. In my program, I dive into all 3 steps of the confidence compass and we practice it so that by the time that you're in labor, it's second nature, because birth is unpredictable, but your confidence doesn't have to be. Let's dive into one of the biggest gaps in most birth classes, one that most people don't even realize is a problem until it's too late. They completely overlook the power of partner preparation. I cannot stress this enough. Most classes are going to treat your partner like a sidekick, someone who's there to rub your back, hold your hand, maybe they grab you some ice chips or a snack. But here's the thing, your partner can truly be your greatest source of strength in labor if they're actually prepared. And I'm not talking about just knowing when to grab the hospital bag or what snacks to pack. I'm talking about a partner who can know how to read your cues without you having to say a word, that can anchor you emotionally when labor starts to feel overwhelming, and a partner who feels confident in advocating for you when you can't speak up for yourself. Because here's the truth, you should not be the only one doing the heavy lifting in labor prep. Your partner should be just as prepared as you are, especially if you're planning an unmedicated birth. And I know a lot of people come to me and they say, my husband is so willing to help. He wants to know what to do, but he just doesn't actually know what to do. And I don't know what to tell him. That is a common problem. Having my husband prepare alongside me was a game changer in both of my births. He wasn't just there. He didn't just stand there. He truly was my anchor. I could not have done it without him. He knew how to step in with the measures that we had practiced, when to offer encouragement, when to stay silent and present. During my first birth, I was laboring in the tub and I started to overheat. And I didn't have to say a word. He just recognized it. He grabbed cold washcloths. He placed them on my neck and shoulders. It was exactly what I needed, and I didn't have to ask. He just knew. And that kind of connection in labor doesn't happen by chance. This wasn't just because we've been together forever and he knew me. It happened because we prepared for birth together. And that's what most birth classes completely skip over. A confident partner creates a calm birth space. An unprepared partner can create chaos. Think about it. If your partner is unsure, maybe they're nervous, they don't know what to do, they're asking a ton of questions, you are going to feel that energy. And in labor, energy really matters. But when your partner is steady and grounded, you feel safer, you feel supported, and labor flows more smoothly. That's another reason why I created the confidence compass that I was talking about earlier. It's not just for you, the person going through birth, it's for partners too. In my coaching, I walk partners through how to recognize emotional shifts that happen during labor, how to know exactly when to step in and when to back off, and how to advocate for you in the birth space with calm confidence. And here's what most people don't realize. In labor, there's going to be moments where your partner will notice something before anyone else does, even the provider, but only if they know what to look for. I can't tell you how many of my clients after birth said, I didn't think my partner would be able to do it, but they were incredible because they actually felt prepared. So let me ask you right now, could your partner confidently support you through labor? right this second, if you went into labor, would he know what to do? Not just physically, but emotionally. Would they know how to advocate for you if something shifted? Would they know how to ground you if fear crept in? Right? Think about that. Be a little bit honest with yourself. Dive deep. If the answer isn't like a heck yes, that's not your fault. That's not their fault. It's just that most classes simply don't prepare your partners in the right way. But it's also not something that you want to overlook, because the thing is that labor is not just physical, it's deeply emotional. And when fear creeps in, and you know that it's going to, you need someone who can pull you back to center, because that's the difference between a chaotic birth, one that feels out of your control, and a calm one. It's all about that energy in the room, because labor is intense, it's emotional, it's raw. And having a partner who knows how to meet you in that space, that's the difference between feeling alone in labor and feeling fully supported. Inside my program, we go deep into partner prep. I designed it so that you too can be prepared together. It's not about giving them a list of supported phrases. It's about training them to actually read the room, about showing up as your strongest support. Because birth isn't something that you just get through. It's something that you do together. So let's recap what we covered in our little class. Most birth classes focus on information, not transformation. They teach you what's going to happen, but they don't teach you how to actually handle it. They don't prepare you for the what ifs. And birth, if anything, is unpredictable. You need tools that help you pivot without panic. And they completely overlook partner prep. Your partner is your biggest strength in labor if they're actually prepared the right way. So if you're sitting here thinking, yeah, I think I might have some gaps in my prep, that's actually a good thing, because now you know how to fix them before labor starts. And that's honestly exactly why I created my birth coaching program, is because I wanted to fill the gaps that I saw in other birth prep programs and give you the real tools and frameworks that makes unmedicated birth not just possible, but empowering. We go deep into everything I touched on today. Mindset prep that trains your brain to handle intensity without spiraling into fear. Decision-making tools like the full confidence compass and other things, so you can know how to pivot when things shift. And of course, next level partner prep, so that your partner doesn't just show up, but knows exactly how to support you every step of the way, just like a doula would. And here's the exciting part. This week, I'm officially launching my beta part of this program. It's already been proven, it's already been tested, but right now the doors are open for the second round just for a limited time and for 50% off, which is the lowest price it will ever be. If you are feeling that pull, like, I really need this comprehensive prep, I want my partner on board, this is your time to jump in, because it will never go this low in price again. The program is designed for moms who want more than just a birth plan. They want real confidence, deep support, and the ability to navigate birth like the powerhouse that you are. I will drop the details in the description below, but here's the thing. Like I said, this week only, it's 50% off. Spots are limited, and once they're filled, that's it for this round, because I really like to keep the group small, because I want to make sure that everyone gets personalized support. Once those spots are gone, they're gone. So if you're even considering it, apply now. It's no pressure. It's just to see if it's the right fit for you. And you know what? That's okay if you're not ready yet. I still don't want you to leave empty-handed. Grab my free mini birth prep class. The link is in the description below. And it's a perfect way to dip your toes in, especially if you're still trying to figure out what gaps might be in your birth prep. It gives you practical tools that you can use today. It's completely free. It's the first step towards a calmer, more confident birth. Next week, I'm back here with another Trust Your Birth Tuesday. So make sure to subscribe so that you get the notification when it comes out. I'm getting into 3 things that no one tells you to prepare for before you walk into that hospital room. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be really juicy. In the meantime, make sure to drop your biggest takeaways in the comments. I love to see what's landing for you. It helps me put out more videos to help you as you prepare for your unmedicated birth. And if you ever have any questions about the program or birth prep in general, drop a question in the comments. I am always really happy to help. That's what I'm here for. You deserve a birth that feels powerful, not just one that you get through. And the prep that gets you there, it starts today. Whether it's with my free class or diving into my full birth coaching, this step is yours to take. And I'm right here when you're ready.